Like always, do you want me to already know, bro. Welcome back to our 5 listeners and viewers on Instagram. This is your favorite podcast, the Specifically Random Podcast. I'm Jonathan Longo.
I'm Jair Monares.
And in this podcast, we normally just talk about random stuff like we've been saying every week.
Yes, sir. This episode is brought to you by Dulces Los Borrachín.
Yeah. Shout out to my homeboy
Kitty, Oscar. You can follow him on Instagram, Dulces Los Borrachín.
And his brother Alco, who listens to the podcast.
Yeah, these candies are bomb. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So follow him on Instagram. Buy some merch. He sells micheladas, candies, and I don't know what else. But
Los Borrachín.
Yeah.
No, El Borrachín?
Dulces Los Borrachín.
Los Borrachín. It's good though. I bought the gummy bears. Oh no, I got the gummy worms, dude.
Yeah.
And I like the ones when they put, because normally they put like the gummy worms, right? Like the gummy ones, like the clear ones. But there were some of the sugar ones in there, dude. And I was like, damn, those shits are bomb. Yeah, I know. I never had that. And there was only like a mixture of them. And I was like, oh, that was good, dude. So
no, I bought butterflies, watermelons, and mangoes. Yeah. Bomb, bro.
Yeah, so in this podcast, we've been talking about random stuff from current events to our
candies.
To candies now. And my book reviews that I started reading. In 2 weeks, I have 4 books.
Tina knocked out 4 books in 2 weeks.
I mean,
they're like 200 pages, maybe 300.
In some of them. But okay, I'm going to be honest with you.
Dope.
Okay, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I read along. Yeah. And I listen to the other, but I do read along. It's not like I just listen.
Yeah, but
like
still counts.
Yeah, like I'm reading along and I'm highlighting shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. The one that you told me, we already talked about in the podcast, but that one's a recommendation. I would recommend everybody. But if you don't know who Malcolm Gladwell is, dude, I suggest you read.
Yeah. Or I would listen to his podcast too.
Listen to his podcast, but I would read Outliers.
Yeah.
And the book that I read, Talking to Strangers.
Yeah.
The way that he writes his books are just legit. Like, there's stories among stories.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. Jair will start a topic. And, yeah, let's get started.
Oh, I start with the topic?
Yes, sir.
All right. I wanted to talk about virtual signaling.
Okay, explain what that is to me. Okay.
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you guys.
What is it?
And then we're going to get visuals pretty soon. I just wanted to make sure you guys wanted visuals, and I just wanted to make sure. Well, how many cameras
I'm gonna make it
wanted.
happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Now, Jair's not gonna make it happen. So,
because we made like half a mil on AMC, so
half a mil. I wish.
Not that much, but we made some money. And the squeeze still going. So a lot of people are confused about the squeeze. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's dropping. The squeeze is done," and it's like the squeeze hasn't even begun. So, yeah, just putting that out there. Not financial advice. So, virtual signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue. So, pretty much, it just means that you're acting like in the best interest of other people, like you're a moral warrior, so to speak. That's virtual signaling. And I don't know if you know, but this month, it's LGBTQ month.
Uh-huh.
So, like the gay month. Like to call it.
Yeah.
LGBTQ.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that a lot of companies, a lot of celebrities and athletes, just a lot of people in general and companies, they've been putting support out there for the LGBTQ community. Like Raytheon, the company who makes like,
yeah, I see
things
that
for like war and shit. They like changed their logo on Instagram, I think. Mercedes
everybody
Benz.
changed it.
Like, everybody changed it to like a rainbow color, you know, in support of the LGBTQ. Yeah. Like athletes, artists, fucking politicians.
And Jair's mad about that.
No, I'm not mad about it. It's just, it's just, you know, like that picture that we posted up on the Instagram page, where it pretty much says the problem with virtual signaling is that these companies, they're not supporting the movements. They're just trying to show that they support what's more popular, just in order to sell. That's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, I just want to know what you think about that.
Well, that's the thing. So I don't know exactly, because I still don't understand what virtual signaling is, but because I was looking.
It's just pretty much like you're showing that you care, like you're showing support. Like,
okay.
You know?
Okay. Okay. So I don't find it as a problem because like if you really support that, then that's fine, whatever, right? Yeah. I think the issue that I do see in a lot of the situations, and this is what I was talking about with somebody last week, because the MLS, like they all wore the same jerseys because it was like to like for pollution or something to do with the ocean, right? Like recycling and all that stuff. Yeah, something like that, right? And I have no problem with that, right? Yeah. But the issue that I feel is like, at the end of the day, it's like they're making profit out of it. Like that's pretty much what it is, right? Like at the end of the day, and I feel like I don't know, like all the big companies, they know who their audience is. Yeah. So like they know that. Like, well, if we don't do this,
what side of the field to play on?
Yeah, like if we don't do this, we're gonna lose a lot of our.
I was gonna make us look bad or something. Yeah, you know what
I mean. And I feel like, but I know I always go back to this, but I feel like it could just be like, I mean, it has to do with the system that we live in. Like you have to. I mean, you're just trying to sell. That's all you're doing, dude. Yeah. Like if you're Nike, you're just gonna try to sell. Now that doesn't mean that they don't. I mean, they don't. That doesn't mean that they do not believe in what they're putting. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is like, is the ratio correct of like what they actually do in comparison to, how much profit they're making? Like, are they making like $1 billion off of this, this movement, propaganda kind of stuff? Yeah. And only giving like $1 million to actual things to help? Yeah. Which is a horrible ratio, right? $1 billion to $1 million is a horrible ratio. But now if they're like doing like 50-50, then or a little more than that, 40-60 or whatever, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's like, well, it's okay because I mean you can do both. Yeah. I just feel like the issue is when the ratio is horrible. Yeah. Like, oh well, we did this to save the oceans and we sold all these jerseys and we gave 20% to the place. Like, dude, well, you just made 80% profit. Yeah.
It's like when Nike got behind Kaepernick. Yeah. When he's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna get you, we're gonna support you and stuff, and then people are like, oh yeah, Nike. But then again, Nike has like the biggest contract with the NFL, so it's like it was playing both sides. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like Nike's not like a moral warriors. They're just doing this because they know who they're targeting, and they know that their sales are gonna fucking skyrocket by doing this. Yeah. On both sides of the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why like companies like Chick-fil-A, like. Not that I admire them, but it's pretty...
they stand up to what they believe in.
Exactly, and they fucking stand their ground. It's like, we don't really care if we sell or not sell to the LGBT community. We just don't believe in that, and that's our values, and we're going to stick with that. Right. Regardless, if we lose or win money, that's what we believe, and that's it. Yeah. And I think that I mean, that's how it should be, but...
I mean, that's kind of like how In-N-Out is, too. In-N-Out is... Like, I mean, they were really... They're not as religious anymore.
Well, In-N-Out gets behind the Republican Party, right? Like,
I don't know. But I know they were really religious. I mean, under their cup, they have, like, a religious, like, quote. Like
John, they have religious quotes and shit. John, fuck, I'm going to stop going there then.
No. But, like, I don't know.
But I feel like your food got to be good and your sherbet's got to be good, too, if you want to do shit like that. Yeah. Like, you can't be McDonald's and then do shit like that. Because then everybody's going to stop going.
But I don't know what is their stand on, like, what is their stand on that, though? Like, Chick-fil-A. So I don't know. I don't think they're just like, well, we're not going to sell to LGBT.
No. They're standing. I think. I mean, I'm not like completely sure, but I think it's the owner. He's very religious, and he just thinks that homosexuality is wrong or something along those lines. But he never said like, I'm not going to sell to the gays, or like gays are not allowed to work in my restaurant. Like none of that. He just says, I don't believe it. I'm not going to get behind it. That's it. And then they try to boycott it, and it's like, come on.
Well, yeah, you can't boycott Chick-fil-A. It's too good.
Exactly. So your food's got to be too good, bro. Exactly. That's the key.
I don't know, man. I think it's difficult because, I don't know. I just, like, at the end of the day, just trying to make money. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's sad to say because, like, there are a lot of big companies that are, well, there are companies, I don't know them, but there are companies who are doing it, like, legitimately because that's what they believe, and that's fine. Yeah. But like, people who are playing both sides, that's kind of like, well, dude, I mean, you're not stupid. You can't be stupid.
And the Brilliant Idiots podcast, they were talking about something else, but they said something that relates to this. They said, like, it's like with every movement. There's people that get behind it for the right reasons, right. And then there's people that get behind it just to take advantage of whatever's going on. Right. And that's probably what's going on right now.
You think so?
But I mean, I hope that now more people see it, like see through the companies' bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Than before. I mean, I don't know if it was more believable because people. I mean, we're more gullible as a society, just because there wasn't a lot of transparency through social media and everything, and we only had the news, and the news catered to the fucking companies. You know. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just hope people don't fall for that bullshit.
Yeah, they are.
Hope not.
No, I don't know.
Hopefully they listen to this podcast.
Everybody falls for the bullshit though. No. I don't know. I was having a conversation with somebody about. I mean, it wasn't like this, but it was like, I don't know if you saw the dad who went viral for like basically teaching his kid oh well, critical race theory is bad. Like treat people, doesn't matter if they're white or black or whatever it is, and just treat them right. And he went viral for doing that.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, and
when was this?
It was recently, this week.
What the fuck?
And I was just like, well, yeah, dude. I mean, I don't understand. He's not really, I don't necessarily understand 100% what critical race theory is. Mm-hmm. But it just sounds like the idea that, white people, they had a lot of advantages in the beginning. Yeah. And we have to talk about that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, that's pretty much what it is, right? Now, of course, there's people who are taking it beyond that and being like, well, white people are, they're evil. They're evil and things like that. Well, of course, dude, but that's what they do on every side. Yeah. But then it's I don't know, I feel like they fall for I was listening to Malcolm Gladwell on Joe Rogan because I read his books and I was like, oh, let me listen to this. And I listened to him and I think he kind of when you watch the news and you watch this or that, it's like everybody's divided. But then when you really talk to them, they're really not. They're really not. They're just all these people are showing their kids that if people are white, they're evil and things like that. And that's what you'll hear on Fox News. All these people are teaching, minorities that white people are mean and stuff like that. And you should, just because they're white. And it's I don't know, dude. I've met a lot of people throughout my life. And I know it's just a small sample. Yeah. But I've never met anyone who was teaching their kids oh, that person's Asian, hate them. It's no, they're just basically only hanging out with the people who they are, they little group, and then and it's eventually it's well, they're not like us, and that's what happens. But I think that's more like tribalism, right? You're just around because you're not exposed to it. I haven't heard any parent ever go, well, be mean to that kid because they're white. Yeah. Or be mean to that kid because they're Asian. Yeah. Now, of course, it does happen. I'm not stupid, and I'm not saying it's not happening. Yeah. But I don't think it's the majority of people. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? And I feel I don't know. It's just back to the point of people just fall for the trap. Yeah. Because they'll watch one thing and watch the other and be like, oh, this is what's really happening. And in reality, they're just falling for the trap. Same way that people are falling for the trap, oh, look at so-and-so, they believe in this. And it's nah, dude, they just know.
It's just that's what we were talking about this yesterday, last week, when we were talking about how everybody posted up their Facebook profiles. Yeah. And then changed when the France mass shooting happened. Yeah. They put the France flag and, virtual signaling too.
Or when they get vaccinated.
Oh, yeah. It's I got that vaccine.
Yeah, or you're wearing a mask. Okay, dude.
It's because another thing is that I feel to that point is that I feel everybody wants to they think their opinion matters, I mean,
that's what we think too. That's why we're doing.
No, I know, but I know nobody gives a shit, or at least that's what I think, Right. But people
because you don't do it. I think there's different things of what's happening, right? Like you said, there's a lot of people who think that their opinion matters. Yeah. Right.
Everybody should follow that opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody should follow that. I don't personally think that myself. I don't personally think that my opinion matters. I just enjoy having conversations. Yeah, no, me too. And that's why I'm doing it. This is not I'm not oh, well, everybody should listen to me and agree. I think I just enjoy talking. Yeah, I enjoy talking, and I enjoy talking about these random topics, and that's what it is. And that's the thing is sometimes people don't care what you think, and you shouldn't care if they care what you think. But that's rather okay, though. Do it because you like it, you enjoy it. Yeah. If you like putting up a picture of you in a mask, if that's what you like, then sure.
Yeah, but just know that a lot of us don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And you should be okay with that.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Well, it's going about the mask thing, dude. I told you that last week. What was it? Sunday? I texted you or something.
Yeah.
My first encounter with like an anti-masker, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No way. How did that go?
Well, they didn't.
Fuck, I want to encounter one of those.
They didn't confront me. It was like an older lady, dude. In Claremont too. It was crazy because you know Claremont is like super like liberal.
I think it's half and half.
Nah, it's super liberal, dude.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like super liberal, educated people. And okay, I get it, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand, but like, I feel like she was just doing it. Like, why?
I want to bring up a point to this after this.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Dude. But she just went. Like, she walked in. I was like with my son, dude. I was with my son, and
but she didn't confront you.
No. She just like.
But she tell you anything? Though?
Nah, dude. Like, she was not talking to me. Yeah, she was just like, she walked in the store. The lady, the lady who worked there.
Yeah,
we're in a toy store with kids. It's just her and her friend.
Yeah.
Her friend is wearing a mask, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on here? Whatever.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, hey, do you have a mask? And she was like, nah, that thing's over. I don't wear a mask. Just like that, dude.
Damn.
And it was like, okay, I get it, dude. But like, here's my biggest point. Okay. If you think, here's my point. This is all this is all I want to say. That's fine. You don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
All right.
Feel free. But if the person doesn't want to sell you anything, they also have that right.
If they don't want to let you in the store,
they also have that right.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is, I understand this is a little different because it's kind of like discrimination towards your specific being of something that you didn't choose to be. If you believe that gay people don't choose to be gay, right? Which is what I believe. I believe you're born like that, and that's just what happens.
Yeah.
That's my belief. I don't know. I get that's what I believe.
Yeah.
So when conservatives come out and go, well, it's the bakery's job, well, it's the bakery's business, and if they don't want to sell to a gay couple because that's not what they believe, that's their right. If that's your belief as a conservative, okay, then your belief should also be, well, if I'm not wearing a mask and they're telling me to wear a mask, they shouldn't have to sell to me. That's the same exact logic.
And that's why all these stores have all these signs. Like every store, almost every store has the same sign. Like, right to refuse to write the service.
Exactly. Like no shoes, no shirts, no service. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of like, my point is that you can't go in there and be like, I'm going to do whatever I want. And if they don't want to sell to you, they don't want to sell to you.
Yeah.
But the issue is like she was going everywhere. Like we went from the store, went to Starbucks, and then my wife was going into Starbucks. And the same thing is like, do you have a mask? And they were being polite to her.
Yeah.
At some point, you'd be like, dude. And she was like, nah, that thing, like she was being rude.
Yeah.
And they were still being polite to her. And it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to sell to you.
But I don't think they see it as like rude. I think they see it as like they're so much smarter.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're dumb. Like that thing's over. Like I'm smarter than
dude,
you.
She was like, she was
I watch YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That, and like, she was like that. And I once again, I get the point. Like I understand it. Like you watch all these conspiracy theories and you're into this and you're watching Tucker Carlson and he's like filling your information.
And you haven't gotten sick.
Sure. Like I get
Nobody from your family has died. Sure. Shit like that. You know
I understand that, right?
Yeah.
But it should be like if you have that stance with a gay couple, you shouldn't be like,
you should just
these people
be prepared,
are discriminating. Because in the real world, like you're choosing not to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like I don't feel like gay people choose to be gay. Like that's how they're born. That's something different. You discriminate. It's the same thing like when you discriminate against people who are of a different color than you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not gonna sell to that person because they're black or brown or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's like they didn't choose to be black or brown. That's how they were born. But you're choosing not to wear a mask.
That's your
like
choice.
You're comparing different things.
What happened to my? Aren't they anti my body, my choice?
Yeah, this is all like that's the thing is like I have no problem. Yeah. But like when the people go, well, I don't want to sell to you, you shouldn't get mad. Like you're discriminating against me. No, dude, you're just not following the rules. You may not agree with the rules. I mean,
and also most people don't contrary of that.
No, most people don't agree with a lot of rules.
Yeah,
like you would like.
I was gonna get to that right now.
You don't want to. Okay, you don't want to drive 65 miles an hour. Most people are like, let's go 90, 100, let's go. Yeah. But you follow the rules. Like, that's just how it is. Like, why aren't you going around, like, 60, free country, 80 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And that was, like, I don't want to, I didn't want to, she was an older lady. And so I'm not going to confront her. And I had my son. And I was like, all right, whatever, dude. But I was just like.
Should have coughed in front of her.
Fine, dude. Like, I was like, fine. Dude, like, that's okay. But, like, like, don't be rude to them. Just be like, hey, I don't wear a mask. But she was like, yeah, that's over already. And I was like, whoa.
Should have been like, hey, you're a doctor?
Yeah. It's like, what?
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
But on the contrary of that, people, that's something else that people have taken as a virtual signal as well. Like, oh, I'm wearing a mask. Like,
Yeah. I just don't understand. Yeah. I don't know.
And they're like, I'm right. I'm smarter than you because I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, it's because we're in a fucking pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
and then talking about that fucking and the podcast that I was hearing today with Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky.
That fool, he referred that because they were asking him about they're like, oh, what do you think about like this whole pandemic and the mask? And he's like, I think he said something about, he's like, how people don't want to wear a mask. He's like, I don't think we're ever going to reach full
agreement.
No, immunity.
Uh-huh.
Like full immunity. Why? Because a lot of Republicans, a lot of people in general don't want to get vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even want to wear a mask because they say it goes against their freedoms.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way.
This is him saying this.
Yes. He's like, so if it goes against your freedom, okay. What if I go out right now and I say, you know what? I'm going to drive on the opposite side of the street and I want to see what happens because I want to be free.
Right.
Or I'm going to walk out naked because I want to be free.
Right.
And if you don't let me, they're going to intervene in my freedoms.
Right.
But these are rules that have been set in place so we as a society can function properly.
Right.
And this, at one point it wasn't normal. None of this that we're doing, it wasn't normal. But now we've normalized it and we internalized it.
Yeah.
Why can that happen with the masks?
Right.
And then
it's just time.
Yeah, and he's like, so it amazes me how some people say, oh, it goes against my freedoms.
Right.
But then, like, you're pretty much following the rules every day.
Yeah, it goes against your freedom.
You stop at the light, you stop at the stop sign. Yeah. You don't kill people. You don't get killed by people because you're following the fucking rules.
Yeah.
So why don't you complain then? Like, oh no, that goes against my freedom.
Right.
So I was like, God damn, that's true.
Yeah, I mean? Because it's that's exactly it though.
Yeah, so like that excuse, like, oh, it goes against my freedom, I think it's pretty stupid.
It's just time though.
Yeah, and then my mom was asking me about that because they're gonna open up. I don't know if California's gonna open up because stupid ass Newsom. He said he's not gonna open up because this thing isn't over.
Right.
So recall Newsom. But so my mom was asking me like, oh yeah, but are we still gonna have to wear masks like in the stores and all that? And I was like, I just think it's up to the stores. It's up to the stores, whatever, like if they don't want to let you in without a mask, then they have all the right to do so. If you don't like it, go fucking start your own store. You know what I mean?
Or go to another store.
Yeah, go to another store.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if they're going to ask for masks or not.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying.
June 15th is when it's all open.
No, Newsom said not in California.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, Dodger Stadium's open in June 15th. Everything's pretty much open in June 15th.
Well, that fool said no.
Nah, I don't know. You're reading the wrong news.
I'm serious. Today? He even said that the whole fucking pandemic started in a nail salon. I swear, dude. Look it up.
Dude, you're
I heard it from
too much Fox News.
No, dude. I don't even watch the news.
Yeah.
I heard the recording.
Nah, I think, June 15th is when Dodger Stadium opens, so everything's open. I mean, we're going back. LAFC's full capacity.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, but it's going to be everybody all packed like sardines.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be crazy.
We're going to all die. Everybody's just going to die. Dude.
That's good, dude. Fuck it, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Like Thanos. Yeah, need to fucking decrease the population. Too many people, dude.
I mean, I know people who are like, just like, oh, yeah, that doesn't exist. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I just don't know. Crazy. Like, people are just randomly dying in India. Like, I don't know. Or they just... Or are they making up
and that's
the whole
another
news?
thing that Noam Chomsky said about the vaccine, because he's like, pretty much we're like the United States is just committing suicide in the long term, because like in Africa, Asia, Latin America, like they don't have these vaccines. Why can't we give them the vaccines? Later on, it's gonna come back and bite us in the ass. We got globalization. This ain't the fucking 18th, 17th century.
Yeah, like
where people just stayed in their fucking, in their town.
Yeah,
like people travel, people go everywhere.
My cousin, I don't know if we talked about this in previous podcasts, but my cousin.
Oh yeah, that your cousin told you.
He made it like I was just like, whoa, dude! Like, I didn't even think about that.
I know, and that's what Chomsky was saying.
It's not gonna work because it's like, well, what the hell? I'm not gonna give it to him. I worked hard for this. Like Pfizer isn't gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna give him the directions.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm gonna work. I worked hard for this. You know, like this.
And that's another thing he said that he brought up about capitalism. because they're saying like, oh, capitalism breeds innovation, and he's like, well, actually, it doesn't. It's part of it, but it's not fully it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these people do the things they do because they want to solve the problems.
Yeah.
You think the people making that vaccine are doing it for money?
Right.
Well, yeah, because that's the way the system works, but that's not why they're completely doing it, because they want to solve the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the argument that people say is like basically what capitalism says is you function like the more money you get, the more likely it is that you're going to find a cure, for example. Yeah. But I get like Noam Chomsky doesn't believe that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, they just do it because they want.
Because it's innate in humans. You know, it's like we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
You know, and one like sooner or later we're gonna get where we're at right now, but probably capitalism sped up the process.
Yeah.
We don't know, but
nah.
Yeah, dude, that fucking interview with him, that show's dope.
He's kind of old now, though, dude. If you watch his earlier stuff.
Yeah. No, but he's still. I mean.
No, yeah.
Same values, same ideals. Yeah.
But he was smart as hell when he was younger.
He's still smart, dude.
Yeah.
Smart as shit.
Yeah. No, I know, but he's older. He like talks slower, dude.
Yeah. I know he does.
Yeah, and but he was super smart. But he was a super lefty, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a super lefty guy.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean he was like he was a linguist, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
linguist. Yeah,
he's a pioneer in the linguist field.
Yeah, so I don't know how he got this. I thought it had to do with language.
And then he like made a lot of contributions on AI, like in the AI field. Yeah. Dude, what do you think about AI?
What do you mean? Like, what do you think about what?
Yeah, AI, artificial intelligence.
But yeah,
do you think it's gonna take over the world? Kind of like have you seen the iRobot? Those movies?
Oh, like that? No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That, no.
I think
it's gonna be like I mean, it's already pretty much a huge part of our society, but I just think it's gonna get
like
better.
Super AI, like super intelligent AI.
Like the movies, like iRobot.
Yeah, like they think on their own. Like they develop.
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but an expert might say yeah.
But do you think we're gonna get there?
I mean, I would have to ask an expert. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
But at the speed that we're going,
I mean, I don't know. Innovation? I wouldn't have an answer, dude.
But what do you think, though?
What do I think?
Yeah, do you think we're gonna get there?
I don't know, dude.
Dude, use your imagination, Tina. Fuck.
No, legitimately, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No, because we had this conversation.
Like in my imagination, I would be like, nah, I don't think so, because I think it's way out. Like you're asking me, like iRobot. No, I don't think so.
No.
But like, it's something like lesser than that. I would have to ask an expert. I don't. Yeah. Like AI is gonna advance. I just don't. I don't know what.
We were talking about this. Well, this was like 5 years ago with a philosophy professor. And we were talking about AI, and he was telling us how, super advanced AI. Like they developed a sense of
Yeah, they make their own decisions. They.
Yeah, like they're self-aware.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that. He's like, so like if that happens, are we gonna be able to stop it? Because if it's gonna think on its own, then how are we even gonna stop it? Maybe it's gonna know that we're the inferior race, like the dumb race compared to the AI race. And at that point, how do we stop it from spreading through other computers or to other other AI? So it's like it don't like even if we want to stop it, like we wouldn't be able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then once they fully developed, and then they see us as an inferior race. Well, what do we do as humans to inferior races? Well, not races, but to inferior beings.
I don't know.
We kill them. What do we do to fucking animals because they're stupid, right?
No, okay. Oh, you were asking me, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were okay, yeah.
So
that makes
sense.
Like,
so either that happens and they wipe us out, or they have mercy. And
I don't know.
We like kind of like a like half human, half AI.
Yeah.
And then another question like, will we live forever?
I would
shit like
say,
that. You know what I mean? But then again, it'll be better for the world because since they're so AI would be like super smart. They like. I don't know, dude. It's fucking crazy.
I would say no. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Nah?
No.
I think that will. You wouldn't want to have AI be grandkids?
No.
Nah?
I don't think so.
Half AI, half human?
Nah, I think there's gonna be like a cap. Like we're gonna get to a cap where it's like we've already reached the knowledge. that we have, like the potential knowledge that we have.
But what if it gets out of control, though?
I think there's gonna be a cap.
But what if that cap reaches that tipping point?
Somebody's gonna try. Somebody's gonna try to do something insane, and it's not gonna function. Yeah, I don't know. This was taking a picture. I don't even know what he's doing. I'm like half asleep, dude.
That was random.
Yeah.
But nah. So what do you think then? No?
Nah,
so no?
I would say no.
You don't think we're gonna get there ever?
I think I'm not too sure, but I think there's a cap to like the intelligence of people. So like we're gonna reach that cap, and it's not gonna like we're gonna be like.
You don't think we're gonna get past that though? No. I mean, think about it. Fucking. Not like 50 years ago, we didn't have like telephones were like non-existent.
Right.
And look at us now. We have a fucking supercomputer in our hand.
Yeah, but
and nobody thought that would be possible. No, I mean back then, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
That was the goal,
and that's what I said.
I just don't see the point of it. Like, I don't see why somebody would be like, oh, let's make this AI that's smarter than us.
Well, to do shit for us.
There's things that already do shit for us. At some point, people are gonna be like, that's too much.
I know, but like that's the thing with scientists and people that work and shit like that. They're like, well, it's not about like doing it for a purpose, but it's more like, can we do it? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, let's try it. Mm-hmm. But if we try it and it gets out of control, it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I would say like ego.
We're
you know
really,
what I mean? It's mostly ego.
I feel like we're really at a point where it's like, there was like a huge surge.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty much like there hasn't been movement.
Yeah.
For a while, right? Like iPhone 11 looks like the iPhone 12.
Okay.
iPhone, like the computer, like they're just making them thinner.
Yeah.
Like this computer's thinner.
But in terms of robotics and AI, like it's been advancing.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not like
machinery and everything. Dude,
yeah, but it's not
at my job. Fucking shout out to all my coworkers because they show some mad support, dude.
Yeah.
At my job, like they were talking about getting like this fucking like a welding machine, like a mechanical welder or some shit like that. Like there's like a fucking robot welder. Mm-hmm. Fucking robot that welds, dude. I didn't even know that shit was around. I was like, God damn. And they're like, yeah, it can do the work of like I think 2 or 3 welders. So I'm like, God damn, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. Like I would have to ask an expert, but I'm sure. I don't know. I don't have anything.
Dope though?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have nothing to add to this conversation because I don't even.
Just think about it, dude. Wrap your head around it. Okay, wouldn't that be dope?
No.
Nah.
Nah.
Dude, you'll be fucking cyborg, bro.
No, I know Joe Rogan talks about how Elon Musk's like trying to make this thing where like it connects your brain.
Oh, Neuralink with Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, but it's like I just don't find it exciting. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I understand it. Like I understand why Elon Musk wants to do it.
Yeah, he's an alien.
But I just don't understand like why anybody would want to do it.
But that's the point. Like ego. You know, it's not so much about wanting to do it. It's about like I could do it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But ego is sometimes is not a good value.
No, I know that, dude. But I'm saying this is why they do it. This is why people do shit.
And that's why a lot of people are unhappy. Read Mark Manson.
Hello.
Read Mark Manson's.
But dude, wouldn't you want to be a fucking cyborg? Like that should be dope, dude.
No.
People identify as whatever they want, dude. We can identify as cyborgs, bro. Come on.
No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think part of being human is that like just being human.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, like that's what I just mean. I don't.
What makes us human?
I don't find any like AI conversation. I don't find any like.
Though you got to look into it then.
I do. We got to
get back to this shit.
But I don't
dope,
care,
bro.
I would like somebody in the comment section to let me know anything about AI. Link an article.
Show some links, some fucking YouTube videos, an article or something.
I just don't find it interesting. Like I don't find. Yeah, I'm like kind of like Neil deGrasse, who's like. Find me evidence of UFOs, like legit evidence, not these like. Yeah,
because he's a fucking scientist, so he reduces everything to evidence.
I'm a scientist, dude. And I want evidence.
I thought you were a politician last week, bro.
Social scientist. I am a politician.
2024, dude.
I'll be too young. 28.
Yep.
President of the United States of America.
First
Hispanic president. I'll wear a white wig if they want me to, like George Washington did.
First Hispanic parents president. From Argentina.
Yeah. Immigrants.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
all right, next topic. What's your topic? Shoot it.
Look, dude, I read this book.
God damn, another book review, guys.
Nah,
Let's go. Let's get it.
It's not another book review. But
hey, I want people to read. Dude, if fucking two of our listeners can read a book because of this podcast, then that's already dope, dude.
Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell, I've already said it. I highly recommend it. The concept of the book is that people don't know how to.
You recommend a book, and I'll recommend a book.
Go ahead.
You go first, though. Keep going.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Keep going.
I already recommended it.
But why? What is it about?
The concept is simple. Well, the concept is like
talking to strangers.
Yeah,
Malcolm Gladwell.
Talking
to strangers.
Talking to strangers. Talking to strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. If you don't know who Malcolm Gladwell is, he's the guy that comes out in the commercial with Kevin Hart on Audible. He's sitting across from him.
Nobody knows. Dude. Nobody knows.
Yeah, look him up, guys. Well, his concept is like the book is based off of like a greater concept. Every book that he writes, like outliers, like why are people successful, right?
Yeah.
In this situation is like, why do our conversations, why do our meetups with strangers, why are they so horrible a lot of times, right? Like the way that we get to know, like our first interactions with strangers tend to be horrible, right? And the concept is simply that, like, why does that happen, right? And in reality, it's like, is that ever going to be better, or is the opposite better? So here's what it is. You have this. I forgot what he uses, but most humans default to truth. Most humans default to truth, which basically means that let's just say, give you an example. Like if you find like your husband or your wife is cheating on you. And they come and you're like, hey, what happened? And they'll say, well, I was working late. Okay, right? Even though that's like suspicious to you, you make a rationale that it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Even though it's suspicious, like you eventually rationale that it does make sense, right?
Yeah.
Because humans tend to default to truth, which basically means that they try to always believe what is true, right? So that's like the first issue. The second issue is that we have this fallacy that we think that if we meet somebody, we can read them. Like we understand how they're acting, right? Because if they're smiling, they're happy. If they're fidgeting.
When you know somebody.
No, like a stranger.
Oh, like a stranger.
When I meet somebody, like if they're smiling, that must mean they're happy. Like there's these facial, like
signals.
And we get that from what he says is like he calls it the Friends fallacy. If you ever watch Friends. If you watch Friends, he actually goes through an episode, but if you watch Friends, the idea is like you can look at their facial expressions, right? And you can tell, are they happy, are they sad, are they mad, or you know what I mean? And basically that's the concept of like people think that that's how you act. Like if I see somebody smiling, that must mean that you're happy. If I see somebody who's frowning, that must mean that you're sad. If I see somebody like fidgeting and talking a lot, that must mean that they're lying about their story because they're super nervous. If like all that different stuff. And the idea is, and then he goes to like stories and all that stuff. But
so what's the main idea of the book?
The idea is that like the issue is that we in our interactions we're really horrible, and you either default to the truth or you default to what is the opposite of the truth. And he makes the point that the default to the opposite of the truth is actually worse than the default to the truth. And he makes the point with actually the way that police.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes through all these stories, because in the beginning he talks about how the CIA, there was a bunch of Cuban spies, and they were like spies for like 10 years, right? And what happens is like they have these intelligence, like CIA people have conversations with people, and they're like basically like they're spies. So there's like these little clues that you see, but because you ration out, you're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. Or that somebody called you here when they weren't supposed to call you. That all makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then when I asked you, like, hey, are you involved with like the Cubans? And they were quiet and they didn't say anything. It was like, well, I guess they were just quiet. Like all these little clues, but because you're looking at them, you don't understand them, and it's like like you don't see that they're lying to you. The idea is that we're horrible at understanding this transparency. We think that everything is transparent. If you're mad, you're gonna look mad. If you're happy, you're gonna look happy. And in reality, that's not how it works, because people's reaction to certain things are always different. But we always rationale that it's the truth. So if I'm like, hey, are you part of this Cuban intelligence stuff? And you do something that's really awkward, humans tend to rationale that. Like, well, that kind of made sense because of this, because of that. So that's how the spies got away with it. And it wasn't that they were that they were great spies. It's that humans tend to believe that most people are truthful. So then at the end of the story, he explains, I don't know if you ever heard of this. Sandra Bland or something like that.
Sandra Bland.
Yeah, she got stopped by the cop, and she was like super fidgety. She was upset. She moved from Chicago to Texas.
Was it a black lady?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. And then
the one that was smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
She pulled out a cigarette, and then the cop told her like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know who you're talking about.
Okay, so the idea there is that there was a study that said that policing needed to be more intense. Right? But specifically in areas where there are crimes. Okay? So you are supposed to police intensely in specific areas that there are crimes. Basically, they did this study where it's like, where do the crimes happen? And they figured out that literally all the crimes happen in like within like 2 or 3 streets of the whole neighborhood. Like the majority of...
In the 3 streets?
Yeah, like in every like main city where there's a lot of crime, they tend to like happen in these 3 like specific, small neighborhoods, small streets or whatever it is. So what they did was like, you need to police extremely rough there, right? And that's where you want to police extremely rough. If somebody's taillight is out, you stop them. If somebody forgets to signal when they change lanes, you stop them. Like you're policing nonstop, but specifically in that area, okay? But then the police took that and were like, look at how the crimes fell here. But then they took the same policing everywhere, right? So when she got to this place and, she forgot to signal or whatever it is, the cop stopped her, okay? The cop stopped her. So you have an interaction with the stranger. The cop is a stranger to land, okay? What happens is he walks up to her. She's had a fucked up life in Chicago. That's why she's trying to move to Texas. Start off new. She's had like tickets. She had all this stuff. Okay. She's upset because she actually moved out of the way because he was speeding.
Yeah.
Moved out of the way. And she got pulled over. Yeah. So of course she's upset. Yeah. But she's not upset that she got pulled over. Right?
Yeah.
She's upset because she's like, God damn, I'm trying to start my life new. I'm doing what's right, pulling over. Wrong. Everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the cop do? He walks up to her. She's fidgety. She's upset. And instead of like trying to de-escalate, he goes, what's wrong with you? Why are you upset? Like basically like kind of like
poking at her.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. They talk about it. They get there. He goes back. They write whatever it is. He wasn't planning on giving her a ticket. But remember, they're policing like this. Right? So they're policing like this. So now instead of walking on the side, he walks on the driver's side. Yeah. And that's when you want to look at to make sure, because they're supposed to police.
That's like when there's a threat, right?
Yeah, when there's a threat. Go
on the driver's side.
So fine. She forgot to signal. He wasn't gonna, whatever it is. She's upset. What does she do? She lights a cigarette. Now,
because she's nervous.
What Malcolm Gladwell says is, if you were raised in a culture that there was people smoking cigarettes, you're gonna know that she's smoking that cigarette not to be defiant towards you, but to calm her nerves. Yeah. Because cigarettes do that for people. But how does that guy take it? He takes it as being defiant. He starts going, instead of saying, hey, you know what? Like, I don't like the smoke smell. Can you please turn it off? He's like, turn it off. She's like, I don't have to turn it off. Boom. from that interaction of strangers, right? She gets arrested, gets pulled out of her car. She gets arrested. 3 days later, she's in her thing. She hung herself. She killed herself.
She ended up killing herself?
She killed herself.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So his whole point is like, if that interaction with the stranger could have went better, it would have went. But he connects it back and goes, because then he goes through like when they're asking him questions.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, she was fidgety, so I thought something was wrong. So what does he do? He does what everybody does, which is you look at somebody's emotions and you try to read them. But like I told you before, in reality, everybody's emotion is different.
Yeah.
So he thought he was on a show like Friends. In reality, he's in real life, and she wasn't mad at him.
Yeah.
She was mad at the whole situation. And he could have de-escalated it, understand that people smoke because they're trying to calm them down. But in reality, we're so horrible at talking to strangers that that's what ended up happening.
Fuck.
And that's how the fucking book ends. But it's, dude.
So that's the last.
Listen, that's like the last story. He begins with that story and ends with that story. But he goes through Amanda Knox. I don't know if you ever heard her. She was the one that, like, she got arrested because, like, her roommate got killed. She wasn't at her roommate's house. Like, she wasn't at her house when that happened. She's the one that called the cops when they showed up, her and her boyfriend. There's no DNA proof that she was there. Nothing like that, right? But what happened? She was acting like normal. Like, she would be like, you know, like doing some weird stuff that normal people in that situation, quote unquote normal people, wouldn't do. And she got arrested, and they said it's because she looked like she was, her attitude was showing that she was guilty. They arrested her 3 years, whatever it is. There's a crazy chapter about that guy Brock Turner, the guy that raped the girl in Stanford.
Oh, that white
guy that got 6 months or whatever.
Yeah,
there's a fucking chapter about that, dude. If you just read that chapter, it will blow your mind, dude. And dude.
Oh, dope too,
dude. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Then he ends with Sandra Bland, and yeah.
Fuck, bro. I'm trying to. All right. Well, the book that I wanted to recommend, well, obviously the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah, we already
by Mark
recommended
Manson.
that. Yeah.
But we didn't say the name. I don't think we said the name last time.
No, yeah, we already recommended it.
Well,
you talked about it first, and then I read it.
So I recommend that one, and then on a heavier side, it's a little heavy, but Michel Foucault, Discipline and Punishment, the one that I always recommend everybody.
Yeah, you're talking about.
Dude, that book.
What's the idea of that?
So the idea.
First of all, I was at Barnes and Noble. I bought the book. I was at Barnes and Noble. I went to the philosophy thing. Every book in the philosophy thing feels like the Bible, and they're written in like super thin lines.
One's not that. That one's
like
not
it's
that
super
heavy.
thin lines.
Yeah, dude.
It's like it would take you 5 weeks, 6 weeks to finish the book.
Yeah, dude. Philosophy is too crazy.
Dude.
But fucking. So this book pretty much, he bases his theory on this thing called the panopticon. So the panopticon is pretty much. It's a concept of a cell tower. So imagine this: you have a jail, right? And the jail is like a. So you have the jail, and then you have the tower where the guard stands, and the tower's in the middle of the jail.
Watchtower.
The watchtower and the it's in the middle of the jail, and all around the tower there's cells. That's where the prisoners are. And the only window is all the way up, but it has windows facing all the sides. But the windows are dark, so you can't see anything. So that's called a panopticon. So that idea was developed by Jeremy Bentham, another philosopher, like in the if I'm not mistaken, 18th, 19th century. So the concept of that is so that the prisoners in the prison can behave at all times. Why? Because they don't know if they're being watched or not. There's a tower in the middle with windows all around it, but the windows are dark. So you don't even know if there's a guard around it. I mean, in it. If he's watching you, if he's watching the other guy, you don't know. So they automatically behave, because they don't know if they're being watched or not. So they have to behave. So he takes that concept and applies it to the real world, to society, not just to jail. And he says how we as a society live in a panopticon. So, and he's like, through surveillance, examination, and there's 3 things: surveillance, examination, and normalization, I think is the third one. Is how we behave as well. And fuck, dude, I gotta reread that shit. But so he pretty much.
So how does he bring that experiment to the real world? Like, I know in a jail you said there's the watchtower, but how do you, like, there's no watchtower at work or like in the middle of the city?
Is there not?
Okay, yeah.
Explain. So like he gives examples like work, school, church, military. So he's like a work. You bring surveillance. You have cameras, supervisors, managers. They're watching you. What you do. Examination. He's like, in the prison system, examinations are like, all right, let's see how you did. If you're able to get out now or no. In your workspace, examination. Maybe some jobs like. When you get a raise or something, like, okay, well, you did well, you did, so you're being examined,
right? And
then normalization. You've internalized the system of working, of this working system. He's like, same, and you've accepted it, and you work towards becoming better at that,
right?
Same thing with school. At school, you have teachers that are doing the surveillance. Examination, tests, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like in church and the military, Yeah. So he gives all these examples, and then he goes to the bigger idea. Like, now we've internalized this system where we have to follow all these rules because we feel like we're constantly being watched.
Right.
So we are being how do you call it? Like regulated without even knowing it because we've internalized it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's fucking crazy, dude, because then he starts going on like, you got to follow, like, you think this is like normalization is what you see on TV, what you see in social media, what you see at your job and shit like that. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's not that we're free. It's just that our chains are long enough for us to think we're free.
Mm.
And then it's like, and who holds that real power? Who determines all that? Mm. It's like, well, some people say, well, the people who have money.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, well, actually, it's not the people who have money. It's the people who determine what the normalization standard of living becomes. Because if you can make that person...
Who is that?
The people in power, like he says the people in power, which are the people like who make up... fuck.
But wouldn't they also be in that same situation? Like, wouldn't they also be in that same...
No, because, okay...
What'd you call it? Emoticon? What's it called?
The panopticon?
Yeah, panopticon. Because, like, there's people watching them.
Yeah.
At all times.
Well, that's how you gotta read the book, dude. Or fucking... I mean, you can also check this out, like probably on YouTube or something. But, like, this whole idea. But he says, like, okay, you say the people in power have money, like the president or, whatever. But what if you can determine what and give value and give acceptance and normalize something that person then now wants to buy,
mm-hmm.
who holds the real power? Mm-hmm. Let's say fucking these candies,
mm-hmm.
so like they're worth like, $5. And then somebody says like, oh, those candies are really valuable. Now they're worth like $1 million, So now people are going to want to buy those candies.
Mm-hmm.
People. So who holds the real power there? The people who determine all that shit.
The person who said that, that's a really... Yeah.
Yes. Like, who gave... Like, why is, I don't know, fucking gold so expensive or shit like that? Like, who gave it value?
Right. It would be those people who are...
Because now everybody goes for the gold. Everybody wants gold.
Mm-hmm.
But who gave it the value?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, yeah.
So is that the whole concept of the book? Like, are you like
we're all prisoners in this giant panopticon?
Yeah. And who's the person who's up there, or who's the person who's
I'm not gonna give
there?
that up. And it's not, and that's another thing, dude. That's why I don't believe in conspiracy theories, because he says we think that the people in power is the Illuminati or you know, QAnon or like the fucking people the lizard people who live in the sewers.
I think I figured this
and it's like that'll be too easy because then we will know who to go after.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's like, and then if we know, then we can take it down. But if you don't know who the people in power is and you never see them, like it's like they don't exist. How do you even begin to take the power down? And
let's break this down.
Hold on. And to that point, the way he starts the book, he starts by saying how criminals used to be punished, like in the 18th century.
They're still punished today, huh?
No, not today. They just give them 3 meals a day, you know, nice bed.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
But
is that really a punishment? I get what you mean.
Like he talks about how they used to be punished, you know, like they would like drag them, like they would burn them alive,
they would chop
cut
their
limbs.
Off with that thing, yeah.
They'll let their fucking limbs, like they'll hang them across the city and let the body rot in front of everybody. He's like, but then things went wrong when that happened. Like maybe the person didn't die, maybe he took too long to die. And then people started doubting the power of the king or whoever was in charge. So then what happened? They moved the executions to the back of the courthouse. You know, we're going to chop his head off there now. And then what? And then they moved it to... and then they start covering the prisoner's face before they killed him so nobody would know who he is. So there would be no sympathy for them. You know? Mm-hmm. And then he's like... And then they moved it to the courthouse. And then they moved it to private executions. Nobody could see. So now we moved away from all that, the punishment, the physical punishment. We moved to the mental punishment, the punishment of the mind. Mm-hmm. So we can't control how the people behave, how the people react physically, but we can control how they react mentally. And that's what he talks about. And I was like, dude, that book, fuck, bro, like, it'll really get you thinking because, like I said, it's just like it's not that we're free. It's just that our chains are long enough for us to think we're free. And then he also talks about how we're like, why like criminal justice shows, like all those shows that are like to what is it? To the murder shows, like what are they called? Those fucking shows, like a lot of girls are into it, like the murder shows.
Law and Order?
No, not Law and Order, like the murder shows, like To Catch a Murderer and all that shit.
I don't know what do you mean? What are they called? I mean, like
that genre. Well, that's why that genre is so popular, and we're so obsessed with that because he talks about how we're so attached to these figures, like Bonnie and Clyde, like the guy who jumped off the plane with money. I forgot his name, and he never got caught. And we're just attached to all these figures who like have rebelled against the system because internally, we wish we would be them because that's in our nature to defy the justice system, to defy the system as a whole. But we're too scared to do so. So when these people come out and do shit like that, we glorify them. And I was like, damn, that's fucking true, dude.
So here's my question. So as you were talking about this, like,
but yeah, wait, the book is called Discipline and Punishment by Michel Foucault.
Yeah.
Dude is dead.
He has that thing right in the middle, right?
Yeah, it's like a.
And the prisoners, I guess, is this like an experiment? Are they like, or is this like a thought process? Like it was
like,
did this really happen? Like the people acted
the Panopticon, but it was designed by Jeremy Bentham back then. But then Michel Foucault took it and he applied it to society.
Okay, so is he's not talking about literally, right? He's more talking about figuratively, like people are kind of watching you and things like that. Like there's not a real.
Well, no, we're not. Physically,
right?
Yeah, okay. but that's what he says.
But here's my thing: when he asks,
mindfully.
Who's in charge? That was your question, right? In reality, if you really take... I mean, I haven't read the book, but I'm just trying to make a connection here. In reality, if you take that tower and they're saying, well, these people were acting right because one, they didn't know if somebody was up there or there was somebody up there because...
The guard.
Either there was somebody up there or not, but they didn't know.
Yeah. So
if I connect that to the last point of like who's in charge... In reality, nobody knows, but they always think there's somebody up there in charge. So the concept,
like they're being watched.
Like they're being watched. But in reality, it can literally be like it's actually just made up in your head. You understand what I'm saying? Because like in that tower, you don't know. Maybe
the
whole time.
That's the whole point of the book. That you've internalized.
Yeah, and in reality, they're probably nobody. Like
exactly, but you've internalized it, so they don't have to watch you anymore because you do it yourself. It's like at work. It's like if your supervisor's not working, there's always going to be that person who's like snitches because they want to do better than you. Yeah, because they've internalized that I guess oppression, you can say. Mm-hmm. They've internalized it, but yet they're part of that same shit that you are, but they don't realize it. And when you realize that, you're like, fuck. He's like, and he says like, we might never get out of this because we're way too deep in it. You know, like they gained so much control over us.
Who's they though? There could be nobody. Well, that's the whole point of the Panecticon or whatever.
No, there has to be a guard, dude.
There doesn't have to be a
people
guard.
In power.
There doesn't have to be a guard because you don't know. You don't know if somebody's up there or not. The point is to make you feel like there is somebody up there. And is that what the point is? Is that society makes you feel like there's somebody in charge. Yeah, and then you internalize it. You know what I mean? Like that's the connection that I'm making. It's like in reality, if somebody goes and be like, okay, look, there's somebody up there. Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna just tell you, there's somebody up there. He may not have a gun, and if he sees you misbehaving,
you're gonna get shot in the head.
You're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea, right? They don't tell you that, but when it's super dark, you're like, well, maybe there's nobody up there. Yeah. But you're just like, fuck it, whatever. There has to be somebody up there. So I feel like that's kind of like the point of like, you know, you internalize it so much that you're just like, maybe I'm supposed to act like this. Yeah. You know?
Well, they don't like, they're not supposed to go against whatever they're you know, they can't walk past their chains, you know, in the jail. But same thing here.
Isn't it like a human thing though? Like you don't think that's just like a human thing?
No, humans are fucking
like humans will just be free, random, do whatever the hell they want.
Well, according to some fucking philosophers, if we're like fucking free to do whatever we want, we just kill each other. I mean, that's what we do now. We're like, technically it's not right to do so, but when you go to war, it's right. You know? So imagine if we didn't have any laws or nothing. Mm-hmm. So they say like in a normal state of like, of like being humans, like we'll just be fucking rabid dogs killing each other for survival. Cause that's what it comes down to, right? Survival. Yeah. Everything you do is for survival.
Well,
yeah, everything you do is for survival.
Back then, I think.
Even today. Excuse me. It all comes down to survival.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you think about it,
no,
it comes down to survival.
No,
surviving.
Not everything you do.
Well, I mean, it all comes down to that, Doctor.
No.
Well, stop eating then.
Well, no.
You'll die.
No, I'm saying everything. Doing this podcast wouldn't come down to survival, or not?
Well, that's a good point. Maybe.
Buying a TV is not like survival or not. I mean, I guess if you really get into the deep understanding of like, you may need this for your health, so you have a conversation. So doing this podcast maybe saves you from going crazy in your brain, then killing yourself. I mean, we can go all these different things, right? Or like the TV, not getting informed because that's where you get your information. And if you're not getting informed, there could be somebody who comes in and bombs you, and you could have known that there's a bomb coming. I mean, we can do all this all day. But I think that's what, like, I feel like that's what, I feel people like hate on philosophy because like they ask these questions that there's not really an answer to. Yeah. And I think that's the point. The point is for you to think, not to have an answer. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of people are upset because like everything is an answer. Like there has to be an answer. And it's like, no, you need to engage in the conversation that may either lead you to an answer or not. And I feel like people are like, oh, well, philosophy.
But then a lot of that philosophy, they do apply it to like real life situations. And like I said, like this book, it applies it to that, you know? And like I was telling you, like, you know, like if you're in the prison, you're not supposed to do anything like you're past your chains. Same thing here. You know, we're not supposed to pass our chains or else what happens? We go to jail, you know? And that's why we glorify people like Bonnie and Clyde, like fucking, I don't know, El Chapo, people like that because they go past their chains. They were never in chains in the first place, you know? So in a way
Isn't that not that they... Well, I guess, yeah.
You know? Because, and he argues that is because like innately we wish we would do that, but we can't. Well, we could, but we don't have the guts to do it.
Really?
You know, to step outside our boundaries.
That's his argument.
Yeah.
He thinks that if everybody could, they would all be El Chapo?
Well, not El Chapo, but, you know.
No, yeah, like step... Oh, that was the example.
They would defy the system and the laws and everything put in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what you said. Like, we glorify those people because of that.
Yeah, because we wish we would...
So, like, everybody wishes that they were El Chapo? I mean, that's my question.
Not specifically El Chapo.
Right, but that's why you glorify them.
Yeah.
Because you want to...
Because he's defying, like, everything.
What would be defying everything, though?
The system. You know, he's going against the system. I mean, he's not supposed to do everything he's doing. Killing people, fucking selling...
You think people just want to kill people? That's a deep-ass question.
What?
You think people would randomly kill people?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's what I think about gun control.
I don't think the purge will happen.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so, dude. If you're free to kill, like, for 24 hours.
No. There's not one bit of my body that would be like, yeah, I want to go kill somebody.
I mean, not you, but maybe other people will.
Yeah. But that would be the same logic saying, like, if you make all the drugs free. I mean, illegal.
Yeah, some people would want to do them. Some people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude, we're fucking savages, bro. A heart. We're born savages.
What would be the ratio, though? I guess that would be the real question. Because when does it become a purge?
What do you mean?
Like, what would be the ratio? Like, let's say the purge happens.
I
think the ratio would be like, maybe in this whole neighborhood where I live here, like, I would say maybe like 3 families. 2 families, maybe.
Think so?
Yeah. I think that would be the ratio. I don't think people innately want to go kill people. I don't think so.
No, not innately, but I mean...
Right, but that's what the purge talks about. Like, if there's no rules, you're just going to do whatever you want.
Well, think about all the people that say, like, eat the rich.
That's not true. That's not true. Because you know, like... Eat the rich.
You know what I mean?
I don't feel like that's true, because in that sense, I feel like people would do a lot more crazy stuff. Like, you can see if there's a cop at a stop sign, and you can pass it if you want. There's nobody there. 90% of the chances, like 90% of the times, then there's no cop there. So why don't people do it more often?
Because they've internalized that. Following the rules. They're
No. I think they'll be like, because I don't want to die if somebody else goes at the same time. Like, that doesn't make, like, and I don't want to kill somebody.
Dude, when you come at a stop sign, there's nobody coming from all 3 sides. People still stop.
Right. But it's like, what if? Like, you're in that what if, dude. Like, what if I pass by? Like, you never drive, dude, and be like, okay, I'm about to go on, even on a green.
Yeah.
You're about to go on a green and go, what if somebody just fucking just goes through the red and just kills me right now?
Yeah.
That's
why you watched
like,
for that too, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course you're watching for that. But the point is, like, that's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Survival.
Yeah, exactly.
Survival. That's part of it.
I just don't think you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna. Like, I don't think the majority of people would be like, I'm gonna go and.
Because you've internalized this, bro. That's why you've been brainwashed. I think
it's innate, dude.
No, you've internalized it.
Nah, I think it's innate. That wouldn't make sense, because then everybody before we internalize this would go out and be warriors and stuff, and that wouldn't.
They were.
No, they weren't, dude. Or else the society wouldn't function. Like, it wouldn't function.
Well, yeah. I mean, at one point, fucking society became society.
Right.
You know
and that's what I'm saying. And there wasn't any rules or whatever.
But how old is a society relatively to the earth?
I don't know.
To human beings.
I don't know.
It's not that old.
I think it's just innate that people like I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you do it for survival.
Yeah.
I think you do it for survival.
Of course, they facilitated our survival.
But we
don't have to go out and fucking kill people to get food.
Right.
You know,
but it facilitated the question of the purge. What's the purpose if there's not for survival? Like, literally, if they go, okay, look, if they go for the next 48 hours, you can kill anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. There are no. Well, they don't say that. There's no rules or consequences to whatever you do.
Well, let's say the neighbor killed your son last week and he didn't go to jail for it, and then the purge happens. Would you go kill him?
I don't know.
You probably would, bro. I'm pretty sure you would. If it would be legal and you had a gun and he'd be your neighbor still.
No, I don't know.
I think it would.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I understand.
Theoretically speaking,
but why would he not be in jail if we know that he killed him?
No, well, I don't want to get into all that.
Well, of course, but that's the thing. That wouldn't make sense, dude. Because if you knew that was the killer, you would be like, that fool would be in jail.
Well, a lot of times happens when like people like.
Of course, I understand that.
That's what I mean.
I understand that.
You know, you hold grudges towards people, and,
right?
You know.
But
I mean, people kill people in the streets all the time, and it's not legal, and they still do it.
Right.
So imagine if it was legal.
But that's a societal issue.
Yeah, but imagine if it was legal.
Why don't we glorify them? That's my question.
I don't know, dude.
See what I mean?
So like these pretty much they just. No, I think because
speaking out of their asses.
Well, I don't want to speak for.
We glorify them because they become famous, dude. We don't glorify them because we glorify them because they become famous. Why do they become famous? Because yes, they do stuff that is out of the ordinary, but most of people, I think most of people, I guess would be like, most of people enjoy that stuff because they wouldn't necessarily do that stuff. So they're like living through that. They're not like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's more like, I'm just like,
well,
I wouldn't do that. So
people
it's
glorify people like that are like fucking. I mean, they do go famous, but because of the shit they do, you know, like they step so much outside the boundary.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I mean, if you kill somebody and shit like that, like it's. I think like it's normalized. But like somebody like Bonnie and Clyde, or like that guy that I forgot his fucking name, the one that jumped off the plane with money and never got caught.
The A bomber. That's Alexa up there.
No, not the A bomber. I forgot the name. But. Yeah, that's why you glorify people like that.
Hold on, everybody. Alexa, stop.
Oh shit, we got Alexa in the house.
Yeah, sorry.
Damn, we're being surveyed right now. We're being watched.
Nah, I don't know. What is the point though of this philosopher? Like, what is he trying to teach? Like, why do you want to go out of the box?
No, he's trying to show you that you're in a fucking box, in a panopticon.
Yeah. But
just for you to be aware of it.
Oh, just for you to be like, I'm stuck in this society. This sucks.
It's just like when they ask, like, what's the point of life? Like, there's no point to it, you know. Life is pointless.
There has to be a point.
There's no that because you want it to be a point because you don't want your life to be pointless, but it is pointless. And once you accept that, you're like, fuck it, you know.
Yeah, and then you step out of the box and you just kill people. Nah, I don't know.
You know.
Nah, I don't.
And that's why people like lean towards religion because they want to find a purpose. Existentialism.
Yeah, what is that?
Essence precedes existence.
What does that mean?
Just pretty much that.
Just saying words is not gonna help me.
You define. So like, you define things as you go. You know. Mm-hmm. So like this chair.
Yeah, you gave the example.
How did it become a chair?
Yeah, it's just with time. People are like, that looks comfortable. I'm gonna sit there. Am I right or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
And then
how did that become a refrigerator? Like,
Yeah,
with technology, AI probably.
Yeah. That's more complex than that, but
yeah. No, I know.
But yeah, dude, that book's fucking dope. You should check it out, dude.
How big is?
It's like 150 pages.
Oh,
dude.
okay. If it's any longer than those, I'm not.
It's shorter than those, dude. Check it out.
What's it called?
It's a Discipline and Punishment.
Well, I got 2 books. I got that book and I got. Dude,
you're not gonna want to go to school. You're gonna want to fucking
I'm gonna
defy the system. Yeah, you're gonna become a fucking criminal.
Look, dude. Man, I know you like to read, so I would suggest that one because that one talks about law enforcement and I think you enjoy that. And it talks about like this thing called coupling. Where like things come together.
Yeah.
Like you know, if this wasn't it, then this wouldn't have happened. Like
yeah.
If there wasn't this kind of like gas in England, for example, like house gas that they use, then there wouldn't be that many suicides from those house gases. So because there was this house gas, there were so many suicides from that house gas.
Yeah. So
it's like this thing called coupling that he talks about, and then you know that connects to the law enforcement and knowing that you need to. You know, specifically look at this place or whatever it is. But I feel like, I don't know, the philosophy books I was looking at today, I was like, damn, these things
Nah, dude, yeah, you're probably looking at some crazy shit. But not read that one, dude. I'm telling you, that shit is going to fucking blow your mind.
Why are all the famous philosophers super old, though? Like, how come there's not a philosopher right now that you're just
those are the, what are they called? The postmodernists. The Michel Foucault, Noam Chomsky,
Noam Chomsky's a philosopher? I thought he was a linguist.
Well, he kind of is a philosopher. But you got Michel Foucault. The guy that was fucking with the Nazis. What's his name?
I don't know.
God damn, I forgot his name.
Hitler.
Nah. But you have all these postmodernist philosophers, Gramsci. And those are like from the like
pre-modern philosophy. Is that like Socrates and all those fools?
I don't know. I don't think they're called post. No, those are the Stoics. Like fucking Socrates and Charmander or whatever. That's a Pokemon. Nah, but it's something.
Was it
like
Socrates?
Plato.
They were all like
Aristotle.
Like they were all like friends, right? Or
no,
one would teach the other one, the other one would teach.
Plato was Socrates' student.
Why did they become so famous?
Just, dude, because they're fucking smart as shit, dude.
But just by asking these questions,
that's just the Socratic method, dude. But there's more to it, obviously.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like Socrates became.
What is a Socratic? I remember listening.
You just ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you like it? Okay, but why?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then you eventually get. Pretty much, his philosophy is like,
you eventually.
We only know what we truly do. We only truly know what we don't know. So try to wrap your head around that.
I don't even know.
What we don't know is what we truly know. So if you think you know something, then you probably don't know it.
Yeah.
You know? And what you don't know is what you truly know. It's like, I know that I don't know about philosophy. And I know, you know, and that's the
fact. Like you
exactly,
really
that's the fact that I don't know.
But
that's the truest true.
Yeah, that you don't know.
Yeah, but if you think you know something, then you probably don't. And if I apply the Socratic method because to you, then I'm gonna find out that you don't know.
The idea is that you don't know enough.
You can never be 100% certain.
Exactly, because you like it's. I guess when I heard you say it, what it sounds to me is like you should always keep learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like you don't really know.
You should never be satisfied.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the other way is like I don't know. Is like you really know that you don't know that,
and that's why he got killed, because he went around asking these people who were like,
and they were like
super smart supposedly. And then he was like, okay, but why? Okay, but what's that? And this and that.
Yeah,
and
that. That's annoying. That's
and then he found out like, damn, you really don't know shit.
Yeah.
And then it got pissed off and fucking killed him.
Yeah. Because he does what like kids do. Yeah. Why?
No, well they
are we there yet? No. Why?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean why, dude? Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's just like.
Yeah, dude.
But it's like, damn, dude, he got famous for being a little kid.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what were the little kids doing during that time?
Nah,
like, were they asking more complex questions? Like,
there's
how
more
does
to
this
it.
work?
But yeah, fucking. I mean, you got the Stoics, then the fucking.
I mean, in reality, that's all he does, right?
I don't know. I didn't meet him. So.
Did you read? You don't.
I don't like. I mean, I know just like the basics about the Stoics, but they were just.
What didn't you not like about them?
They were like a drag. Cause like, dude, I'm not gonna learn about somebody like 2,000 years ago. Like, I don't give a shit. I mean, obviously they paved the way for the philosophers now. And the philosophers' ideals are based from those philosophers. But a lot of those ideas have been debunked. A lot of those philosophies have been debunked by new philosophers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm more interested in like modern philosophers, because it's like it connects to like what's going on.
Yeah.
And they debunked previous philosophers. They like.
Yeah, but like there's what is it? Like, I don't know. Somebody wrote like this shit where he had like these 12 different, I don't know if it was 12, but it's like motion doesn't really exist or something like that. Like you're really only halfway.
Oh yeah, you're halfway to the point always. You're like point.
Yeah. Like
I never understood that idea, but it's crazy.
Yeah, but the idea is.
And then some other guy, like he's another philosopher, like the Stoics said, like everything is fire or everything is water.
Yeah.
You know, like everything's based from fire, everything's based from water. Or like the metaphysics, like that's just something crazy. Like how do you know you're here right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the point of the half is that everything's an illusion.
Yeah.
I guess that was the point, right? Because I was watching this podcast. It's like they just talk about random shit, but like they have a topic. So like they'll Wikipedia something. Like the topic was philosophy, and it's 3 comedians. So they're just talking. Yeah. And one is like, but if I just like, it's like if I go across the table and I slap you, I just slapped you. So that happened. And he goes, yeah, but in his thought is that didn't really happen. It was just an illusion because you never really got there.
You never really got there. You got halfway.
Halfway. Yeah,
it's exactly. Crazy. And I remember when my first philosophy class, fucking like not even half, like 90% of the class dropped. Like the second week, dude.
Yeah, philosophy was hard, dude.
And that fool was like, hey, I don't mind. You can come high to my class if you understand it better. He's like, dude, I didn't understand it. And then at the end, he's like, that's the point. You know, like, if you try to understand, you're going to go fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So they just try to grasp the idea. Like
philosophy is probably the most like. What do you do with a philosophy major?
Become a philosopher. You philosophize.
But like what there's no who is a modern philosopher? Like who can I read today and be like this guy wrote this yesterday?
Michelle, today, fuck,
you know what I mean? Like,
famous philosophers today.
Yeah, like right
I don't
now,
know,
like, what
dude.
podcast can we listen to? And be like, I'm a philosopher right now.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know, dude. No, I mean, none that I know, none that I can think of.
Yeah, do philosophers normally become famous when they die though?
Nah,
no.
They release a book and then
they get killed.
But philosophy, I mean, you think philosophy like, oh, you know, like it's fucking useless or whatever, but
no, I'm not saying that.
Not useless,
yeah,
but
right.
It's like kind of made up, you know, like it doesn't apply to the real world, you know what I mean?
But everything's made up. So.
But philosophy, you can actually say that philosophers are part of those people in power, you know, because if you look back at the Holocaust, Hitler took his ideas from Friedrich Nietzsche. He's another philosopher like the 19th century. But
he has like one of the famous quotes. I don't know.
God is dead.
Yeah.
And I think that was him. God is dead and we have killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he took his ideas and he said, look, Nietzsche's ideas
is it Nietzsche?
Aligned with the Nietzsche's.
I don't know.
His ideas align with the Third Reich. And that's why we should go ahead and do this. Like he legitimized his fucking ideals by having these philosophers backing him.
Was that fool already dead?
Yeah, he was already dead. It was all bullshit. He never backed up. Dude, I wrote my fucking thesis on this. Like, he never backed up the Third Reich. His fucking sister married a SS officer, and then she took this like all these notes and notebooks that he never released. She put them together, but with her biases, and she released this book that pretty much supported the Third Reich, supposedly. And then, but that book was never like recognized as fucking Nietzsche, like as Nietzsche's work. Because if you go back to read Nietzsche's like books, like you'll see that he always like he was very sympathetic with the fucking with the Jews and all that shit. Yeah.
What?
That fool went crazy, dude. Like he legit went crazy.
Why did he say that? Why is that his famous quote? Like what is it?
God is dead?
Yeah, like,
because that's when we started moving into like philosophies. He's like, we're moving away from God, like religions as a whole, and we're moving into like philosophies, theories, and like all this shit that's going on now. You know?
Do you think? I guess I don't know. Do you have one more topic before we run out of time? But
no, I'm good.
You don't want to talk about the tennis player?
Oh no, Naomi Osaka. Nah, we'll leave that for another day.
Dude, what the hell is that noise? You hear it?
Yeah, they're hearing us, dude.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I hear a little ticking noise. Damn, bro.
Let me see.
Nah, I don't hear it anymore.
All right, cool.
Damn, dude, they were hearing us.
So let's just end it with this topic then, because you were talking about Nietzsche and the idea of like, you know, it was moving away from religion. Do you think that's the correct? So there's a conversation now about how like, you know, the society is going bad because God is being removed from the society. People are not really religious. Do you find that to be true? Do you find that religion is? I guess the question would be like, I'm not gonna say like good or bad. What I would say is, do you find that religion is more good, right? Or do you find it just to be like, whatever, it's just like a whatever thing?
Now it's like a whatever thing. But that's why, I mean, you got
your opinion on the like this. Like, do you think we need religion in our society to function? Which is another conversation. I mean, kind of like an addict question. But
I mean, now I don't think we need religion for society to function. But I mean, it'll be really hard to get away from it as a whole now, you know, because a lot of people have been internalized with religion their whole life. That's all they've known. But that's why you got to think about, like Nietzsche was talking about, because if you think back before before Martin Luther and all that shit, you think back and look back, like everything, like your whole life was like revolved around religion. Everything you did, dude, like everything revolved around religion. And but now
even,
it's like,
even outside of that world, though, like if you look at the Americas, everything revolved around religion. Like if you look at the Aztecs or the Mayans, it was very religious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they didn't. It wasn't about God.
It was about gods.
Like different gods, but
yeah,
that's another thing that like the Aztecs and the natives, their gods were like the earth. That was God for them. And I asked this to a Native American from the San Manuel tribe in San Bernardino, and I asked him that, and he's like, for us, God is like the earth. So we don't think as God as like the way Catholics or Christians think of God. Mm-hmm. Our God is Mother Earth. That's our God. Mm-hmm. So when we say God, we refer to. Well, I don't even think they say God. They say something else. I think the Creator or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're talking about Mother Earth because we get everything from Mother Earth. So I think the Aztecs were similar, because they would worship like Tlaloc, the god of water.
Right.
With
it was always like the god of sun, god
of water, god of death, all these gods, but in reality, like it was like theoretically speaking, it was Mother Earth they were talking about, and like comparison to like God, the Christian God is like this being with sandals that walks across the water and shit, But I mean, I don't think it's necessary now, but like I said, it would be really hard to move away from it.
Do you think the world would be better, worse?
I mean, I don't know if it would be better or worse because, a lot of wars are now fought because of religion. Yeah. Religion is part of it. I mean, it can be part of it just like politics can be part of it,
right. I find it very interesting that in almost every society that you study,
yeah,
you find a religion. Like humans are like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that, Like if you start the society over, like if you just...
Dude, get closer to the microphone.
Why?
There. Sound way too far, dude. Yeah, there's a click again. They're hearing us. There.
Oh, it's a stupid
fucking
thing.
NSA, dude. God damn it.
I think it's in your headphones. I don't think it's being recorded.
It's in your head.
What was I saying?
That in every society there's a religion.
Yeah, like it pops up in every society that you study throughout history, right?
Because like I told you, we got to find a...
Because there's no answers to everything.
Exactly, and we want to have an answer to everything. But in reality, there's not an answer to everything, And if you ask, well, what's the point of life? Right. People are going to go crazy. Their life, it's pointless. A lot of people are not going to be able to take that. But that's the reality of it. But then they grasp onto religion, to whatever religion, and they're like, well, my purpose in life is not in this life, it's in the next life. Right. So then they have that hope of the next life. And I'm just like, well, I have no purpose. Fuck it, I'm just gonna live it up.
Yeah, but like, is that a good? I think I find it to be interesting because like, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the answer of like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
And then I feel like back then also societies people in societies, they didn't, like, how do I say, like, they didn't want to take full responsibility for their actions or full accountability, responsibility, same shit. And so they defer that to a higher power or to a God or whatever it was. And it's like, oh, well, I hope God does this for me. Or I hope God guides me in the right way. You know what I mean? Rather than taking it upon themselves to do it. Like they didn't feel capable of doing it, so they deferred to this higher being or whatever.
Yeah,
and also it made you feel better, because then you're like, well, I only have to do half the work, and God will do the other half. You know what I mean? Well, that was your hope,
right.
And if something good happened, you're like, hell yeah, like God came through.
Yeah.
And if something bad happened, it's like, well, maybe I didn't do my part.
I think I differentiate God and religion. Yeah. Or gods or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of people do.
I feel like that's where I'm like. I feel like that's what I'm leading.
Yeah.
Like I always change minds, but I feel like I tend to lean where it's like I differentiate religion with God. Like if you tell me, a lot of people do. Yeah. Like if you tell me you're a Christian or a Catholic, I'll just be like, all right, dude.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like cool, but like whatever, dude. Because like you're. It's like I don't want to say it like this, but it's like being a Democrat,
or
being a Republican.
Like,
you're not really like 100% that.
Yeah.
So you're just putting yourself a label just to be part of a group.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're a Catholic, but
it's
like you don't do everything that.
And even back then, I feel like that was a virtual signaling too.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm Catholic, I'm Christian.
Yeah,
and I'm a good person.
Right, and it's like, nah, like I feel, and it's also like I feel like a lot of people. I think it goes back to like people, right? Where like they took advantage of that religion. They took advantage of like being that religion and then getting money off of people. I mean,
that's why the whole...
And making money off of that. Yeah. And that kind of like ruined my idea of a religion, you know? And that's why I'm like, yeah, maybe something had to happen in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody, like the Big Bang happened. Sure, if we can prove that somehow. If that's what the scientists are saying, right? Like that's what they prove. But who, like, somebody had to...
Well, who came before, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
It was like, okay, who created God then?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, when you get, like, too deep into, like, the whole God fucking conversation, like, they're like, well, God, he has always been. Mm-hmm. He was before, and then he will always be after. Yeah. So it's like and it's crazy, but...
Maybe he's just going around, like, fucking, like, all right, let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's another Earth somewhere else, and he's like...
Well, there's a lot of universes, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, maybe he's over there, like, in another universe, like, oh, dude, this one's going better. Yeah. I'm going to focus on them. And that's why all the bad shit's happening over here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe he's like, nah, dude, fuck them. They're not paying attention to me.
Yeah, it's crazy because when I used to be Catholic because my family was Catholic, not because I chose to be Catholic, you know? So then you kind of follow that pattern. You're like, mm-hmm. Oh, you know, I'm Catholic. I go to church and shit. Yeah. And then, you know, fucking, you read the Bible, like, you just skim through it. Yeah. And then you go to church every now and then.
I mean, just think about this, dude. Like, Christians and Catholics, like, they're literally the same religion.
Yeah, they split up.
They just got into a fight about, I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah, dude.
And they were just like, we're not the same anymore.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want to drink your wine. You know, we don't want to eat the body of Jesus.
And he's like, you're just the same, guys. Do you know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I was
at. And it's the same shit with with all the other churches too. With the Presbyterian.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like
they're all derived from the same fucking
like
thing.
My dudes.
Yeah, and then all those religions derive from Zoroastrianism, you know? So it's all the same shit, dude. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, and then fucking when I got into college and started learning about religions, I was like, damn, it's kind of bullshit, you know? But before that, I was already like...
See, that's how college makes you...
I was like, well...
You would have been conservative, I feel you.
I was like, damn, like, I kind of see a lot of hypocrisy in this Catholic religion, you know? Like, people claim to be good, but then they're like fucking dicks outside the church.
See, that always goes back to the people. Yeah. Not necessarily the religion.
No, but hold on, I'm getting to that, you know? And I was like... And then eventually I started telling people like, oh, I'm not religious, but I believe in God.
Right.
I would say that, you know? And then I was like, man, well, what if there's no God? Like, you know, a lot of people do bad shit and nothing happens to them. You know, a lot of shit happens. And why does he let it? Like, before I learned philosophy and all that, I would be like, why does he let that happen? If there's a God. Or why did this innocent person die, but not that guy who's a fucking like killer or like a bad person? I was like, I would be like, man, I don't know. So then I started being like, well, I don't know. I'm an agnostic, you know? Like, I don't know if there is or not. And then eventually after, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't believe in this. And then people ask me, like, are you atheist? And then it's like, I don't like to say I'm atheist because just by saying I'm atheist, I'm already giving them advantage because in order to be an atheist, you got to not believe in something, in God, right?
Right.
But it's like if I ask you, do you believe in the flying spaghetti monster? You're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? So if you don't believe, I'm gonna say, okay, so you're an anti-spaghetti monster. And you're like, no, dude, like there's no such fucking thing. And then there's this funny like YouTube channel is called a non-card collector, and it's like, oh, do you collect cards? It's like, no. All right, well then you're a non-card collector. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
You know, same thing with God. That's why when they asked me, I was like, no, dude, I'm not an atheist. Because by saying I'm an atheist,
you're accepting that.
Exactly. I'm already accepting the possibility that there might be a God.
Right.
So I'm entertaining your fucking ideals.
Right.
So I don't like to say I'm an atheist. It's like if you go to like, I don't know if it's like Switzerland or one of those countries. Like,
you just say, I'm a philosopher.
No, I'm gay. No, I think it's like 4 generations already where like they've been atheists. So like now the questions of like you're atheist or God like doesn't even exist.
Where at? Sorry.
Where? One of these Scandinavian countries. Yeah, like the thought of God like is just non-existent. You know, it's like you ask them, do you believe in God? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like I said, like if I ask you, like, do you believe in fucking, you know, the flying spaghetti monster? Be like, you're gonna look at me like,
yeah,
the fuck, you know? Right. But if somebody asks you, like, do you believe in God? Like, you say no because,
right.
Yeah, dude, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question because I feel like
we gotta get a priest in here.
Yeah,
but we gotta be careful with this.
Yeah, push it down more, dude, because it's gonna. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with those dudes.
Man. I mean, that's the topics for today, I think.
Yes, sir.
We'll probably divide it up.
We'll divide it up. We'll leave this religion one for.
We're not getting a lot of views, man. What's going on?
We need the visuals, dude. I made a poll. Everybody wants visuals.
I said two cameras. How many people said 2 cameras?
Everybody.
Really?
Nobody said 1. Everybody wants 2.
Yeah.
So we gotta do 2, dude.
3 actually, but.
Dude, relax, man. Fuck. You wanna get
I need to. We'll talk about that after. We'll talk about that after. But yeah. All right, dude.
But all right, thank you for tuning in. Follow us on IG. Subscribe to that YouTube channel.
Did you follow people? Like, just go follow everybody, Joe Rogan, everybody. Just click follow.
Just follow.
And follow random people who follow that, dude.
Yeah, I follow everybody, dude.
No, random people who follow.
Oh, random people?
Yeah, like.
I'm gonna start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but follow us on IG, and YouTube, and pretty soon Facebook coming back. Facebook channel coming back.
And if these investments go up, we're getting this. I'm gonna make it happen, man.
They're already up.
Yeah. And I need to start my podcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But we'll be all right.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Have a good night. Peace.
Have a good weekend. Peace out.